Yeah, you got that right. Oh, well, hello. I'm AMD Red Team Alum Wootdoc. You might remember me from such internet videos as Dr. Woot's Iron Chip and Get Up and Get Ryzen, a baker's creed. Well, I'm here to tell you today about AMD Radeon and Ryzen, which are found together in this, the Cybertron 160. Now, it may look small, but what? Oh, see, because I thought we were doing Roman numerals. Okay. Well, let's just do it again. No problem. I'll just get this on here. I'll just pick it up. Which are found together in this, the Cybertron CLX. Now, it may look small, but don't be deceived, for this is a mini-tower dynamo of 21st century computing power. Sound good? Well, then stay tuned after the break when I'll be replaced by someone that knows what he's talking about. Hey, what is that? Hey, you can't do that. Come back here. Hey. All right, now I want to talk to my agent. Where's Bill? Where's my agent? Who picks Ruby for their teammate? Who are AMD advocates? Red Team! Red Team! Red Team! Welcome back. My thanks to AMD for sending this CLX computer for review. So we are looking at a full system built by CybertronPC. So let's talk about them first. CybertronPC, according to their website, is a custom PC builder. They've been in business for 19 years. They're based in Wichita, Kansas. They will build custom for you. They'll use performance parts. One of the things they say they like is to add in certain design aesthetics, like adding lighting, paint. They'll even do etching, and so on. They have a gaming computer lineup, which they call the CLX, which is Cybertron Luxury Experience. So that's so CLX is just their gaming computer lineup. They also have lineups of laptops and various other business machines. Now, they also offer a number of pre-configured computers, but one of the things I really like is, if you see on their website, they have a configurator, which is pretty flexible. You can customize your order, and this is one of the things that is an advantage of building your own machine, is you can pick the exact parts that you want and put the machine together the way you want it. Well, you can do pretty close to that using their website configurator. Now, they don't have, for example, every case under the sun, but my understanding is if you call them up and if they can get the parts, they will build it for you. And so, indeed, they encourage you to call them up and talk about what you want, and they'll get you a custom order. But the configurator is also pretty flexible, and so you could see, going through, you've got, the industry standard motherboards that, you would see at other online retailers, the same with video cards. Now, an interesting thing they have is they give you a choice with certain components like memory and storage drives and power supplies, I think it is. You can either pick like an industry standard device, or they'll let you pick sort of the low price leader. And so you can just pick that. It'll be the lowest cost. It'll meet the specs, and it'll be guaranteed to be like a major brand. It won't be some, white box mystery meat, but it'll be essentially whatever they can get that's a major brand that is the lowest price of the week, I presume, is the way they handle that. So that's an interesting option to explore. They say that their Windows installs are bloatware free, so I will be checking that out later. And I'll have a little bit more to say about how I feel about buying a pre-assembled system as opposed to assembling one myself, but I'll save that for the end. Let's look at the individual components. So the case, this is an InWin 301 case. It's a mini tower case. It's for microATX motherboards. Of course, it'll also fit mini ITX motherboards. It's got a tinted tempered glass window that pretty much takes up the full left-hand side. And it's got a button on the top that's attached to a spring-loaded latch. So you just push down on that. The door swings out. Very easy to remove. Very easy to put back in place too. You just set the lower slots in place. The door swings up and it just clicks closed when you push it closed. Very nice. Very nice in operation and easy to use. The right-hand panel is conventional. It is held in place with 2 thumb screws on the back. Nice touch there is that those thumb screws are retained. So you're not crawling around on the floor trying to find your lost thumb screws. The right panel has foam strips along the inside edges to cut down on vibrational noise. It's got a 3.5-inch drive bay and 2 2.5-inch drive bays, and that is it. So it's a smaller case, not a lot of drives in there. But, you know, most people are only using 1 or 2 drives anyway, so it works in this case. For fans, it will fit, despite the small size, it will fit a 240mm radiator in the front. It will only fit a 120mm radiator in the rear. And now this is not configured with radiator. So what I've got 2 120mm fans in front and a 120 in the rear. It can also fit 2 120mm fans at the bottom. But doing so means, because it's so little space down there, it means you're going to lose the bottom PCI slot. Which will be blocked off if you put fans in there. And so that's not, I elected not to do that in this case. There is a removable dust filter at the bottom. On the front, you can see the logo here, and the I/O panel has little lights that are RGB LEDs around them, which is a really nice touch. They light up. You can change the colors. And those 2 USBs are USB 3.0. Let's go on to the motherboard. It's an ASRock AB350M, microATX, AMD B350 chipset. This supports all the current AM4 CPUs, including the first generation of Ryzen Summit Ridge, and also the A-series APUs, Bristol Ridge. It has a 9-phase power design. There are only 2 DDR4 memory slots for up to DDR4 3200. It's got a PCIe by 16 and just a single PCIe by 1. There are 8 USB 3.1s on it. It does support M.2 slot for both PCIe Gen 3 and SATA 3 modules of M.2. And it's got an RGB LED header, and there's software from ASRock to allow you to control the RGB aspect. The CPU is the Ryzen 7 1700X, which you probably all know about, but I'll just go over some of the specs briefly, just so we all are on the same page. 8 cores, 16 threads, 3.4 gigahertz base frequency, can turbo up to 3.8 and 3.9 with the extended frequency range. It's unlocked if you want to do overclocking. It's got 16 megabytes L3 cache, and it should fit in a 95-watt power envelope if you're running it at stock. The heatsink is the Wraith Max, which is AMD's stock cooler. Originally, my understanding is it was originally an OEM-only product, but is now available retail, although it's really hard to find at the moment. The heatsink is got a copper contact plate. It's a 4 heat pipe design with aluminum fins. The fan, as you can see, has got the AMD logo on it. It's a 92mm fan, and it's got this ring of RGB LEDs around the, well, in a ring arrangement. It's really nice looking. This is controllable, right? It's RGB, so it's controllable with the motherboard software. The fan itself is 38 decibels up to 2400 RPMs, and the airflow is from the top down. This is probably the nicest, the best of the stock heatsink fan units that I have seen. So it's a really nice choice. The memory. So I've got 2 modules of Crucial Ballistix Sport LT White. Now, these Crucial Ballistic modules are not specified in Cybertron's selector, the website selector. So I just picked, 8 gigabytes. I've got 2 8 gigabyte sticks of DDR4 2400 cast latency 16, and this is what they gave me is these Crucial Ballistics. Power supply is a ThermalTake Smart 700 watt power supply. So this is 80 plus rated. It is non-modular. It's got a single 12 volt rail supplying 54 amps. Inside there's a 120mm fan. It does have active power factor correction. The connectors are the usual 20 plus 4 pin main power, the 4 plus 4 pin 12 volt auxiliary power. There's 5 Molex, 6 SATAs, 2 6 plus 2 pin PCIEs, and a floppy. I still have a floppy in one of my systems, but not in this case, obviously. The case fans. We've got the ThermalTake Riing RGB case fans. There's 2 eyes in ring for some reason. I think they want to emphasize that it's got these RGB lights that are in a ring shape, so they're naming the product Riing. These are really nice looking. I really like how they look. There's 2 of them in the front here and 1 in the rear. So these case fans are not the ones that come with the InWin case. These are add-ins, especially from ThermalTake. These are 120mm fans. They've got the hydraulic bearing. Only 25 decibels, but 48 cubic feet per minute. So pretty decent. Pretty quiet. There's also a light strip here from CableMod. It's fixed on the inside along the bottom front. It's a 30 centimeter RGB LED light strip. And I like the placement there because of how little space there is between the light strip and the video card. So most of the light gets caught on the video card and shines right off of that silver shroud. Really nice looking. Storage is a Western Digital green SSD. So it's 240 gigs. It's just a SATA SSD. This is supposed to contain SLC NAND flash memory. And then the big drive, there's a Toshiba hard drive in there. It's 1 terabyte, 7200 RPM. It's got 32 megabytes of cache. It's a SATA 6 hard drive. And then finally, the big kahuna here is the Radeon RX Vega 64. Ah! And this is from XFX, the XFX Radeon RX Vega 64. And you can see it's the reference type card with the air-cooled silver shroud. Some of the specs, you guys probably all know about this, but I'll run down the specs. GPU clock is 1247 megahertz. Can boost to 1546 megahertz. There's 8 gigs of HBM2 running at 945 megahertz. Got 4096 stream processors. The card's got 3 DisplayPort 1.4s and an HDMI 2.0B. So we had the unveiling. Now it's time for the unboxing, and this is the accessories box. This is a 32 gigabyte thumb drive that they give you, presumably so that you can back up your system drivers. You also get a t-shirt. This is a CLX branded t-shirt with their Triskelion logo on it. It's pretty nice. I think I'd wear that. We also get a power cable, of course. And then we get the, this is the manual for the case, the InWin 301 case, along with an assortment of leftover zip ties and standoffs and washers. And then, oh yeah, this is the remote for the CableMod light strip, which is actually CybertronPC branded. It's an RF wireless remote. And then we have also an assortment of the warranty and install guides. Okay, so that's the rundown of the hardware. Let me talk a little bit about pricing. It's always a little bit iffy because, you know, pricing can change. So at the time I checked the pricing just after this arrived, it was mid-December 2017. If I put this hardware in the configurator, it comes out to about $1,950 at Cybertron CLX. I decided to go ahead and just put these numbers in at, say, PCPartPicker.com and see what I come up with. I got about $1,750. So these are rough numbers. You know, again, pricing can change, but figure that's an extra $200 versus what you would spend if you were to buy these parts and put this thing together yourself. So for $200, what are you getting? You're getting the assembly, you're getting just basic functionality testing. They're going to do the Windows and drivers install for you, and then, you know, whatever is left is Cybertron's profit. So, you know, considering all that they do there, is that worth it? Well, I'll leave it to you to make that call. I feel that it was worth it. That's my opinion, though. And, you know, you might think about, you know, does it make sense to build your own or to buy something like this? And, you know, if you just don't have the time, it's a time versus money thing, right? It's those things are always the trade-offs. If you just don't have the time, then spending an extra $200 to have this done can make a lot of sense. Or let's say another case, maybe you're putting together a LAN and you need to have a dozen computers built, and you know, you don't want to do a dozen of the same things yourself. Well, you know, these guys will do it and they'll do it to your specifications, both in terms of having the parts that you want, and if you want something that's extra or that's custom, they can do that too. You can see on mine, I've got some custom vinyl lettering on the front. So, you know, these are the kind of things that they try to do to provide some extra service. Okay, so that is the Cybertron or CLX mini tower computer, and that's what I have to say about it for now. This has been a sort of an unboxing here by Wootok. And I'll have more to say about this in the future, so stay tuned.